In our building, the elevator often breaks down, so all the elderly folks, pregnant women, and moms with strollers have long gotten used to this situation. I live on the 23rd floor and have gotten used to taking the stairs if the elevator is working, which is very rare. Nobody rides it except maybe a couple of new guests, but once they do, they never come back. My friends always wondered why I take the stairs even when the elevator is working, so I told them. One time, shortly after we bought the apartment here, I was coming home from school, tired, and the elevator was working. At that time, I wasn't used to going up to the 23rd floor, and it seemed like an impossible task. I pressed the call button and waited for the elevator. When the door opened, a girl stepped out. Her eyes were as wide as saucers. Her pupils were dilated. Her hair was standing on end. Her right hand hung limply and twitched. There was no light inside the elevator, and I was a bit scared to ride in it. The elevator is very large and mirrored. Well, since then, I have never ridden it. Never, not once. My friends exclaimed in surprise. Never, I replied. They didn't want to leave it at that, so we decided that as soon as the elevator was fixed, I would let them know, and we would all ride together. Weeks went by, but the elevator still didn't work. We decided to bribe the maintenance man with a pack of cigarettes and beer, and he agreed to turn it on. But he warned us that we would regret it. When we asked him to screw in a light bulb inside the elevator, he said he'd only turn it on and nothing more. Agreeing to his conditions, we got into the elevator. There were 6 of us. Before the elevator doors closed, we managed to catch a glimpse of ourselves in the mirrors, and then the doors slammed shut. We pressed the button for the top floor, the 40th. The elevator creaked but started moving upwards. The buttons lit up to indicate which floor we were on. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and on the 6th floor, the elevator shook and stopped. Damn, I told you we shouldn't experiment, someone said. Who's going to get us out, huh? A friend's voice came from behind. There's no signal. I cursed. We heard a rustling on the elevator roof, then a creak, and then some unfamiliar sounds. Who's there? One of our friends asked. We heard the sobbing of girls who were scared. Enough, please stop scaring us. I have a weak heart, a friend called out, crying. Wait, I have a lighter. When we lit it, we saw our faint reflections in the mirror, but behind us, there stood a girl. She was wearing a white shirt with long black hair. Her face was as pale as chalk, and she exuded an unsettling presence. Girls, keep quiet so we don't scream, someone said. She was looking at us from behind, and we were looking at her through the mirror. We couldn't even put out the lighter. The horror was overwhelming. But then the light went out, and we were left in darkness. Suddenly, we heard screams from one of the guys. It sounded like Dima. He was screaming bloody murder. The girls were crying, and I didn't know what to do. Then we felt something wet under our feet, and something splashed on all of us, smelling of blood. Good morning, Mom. What are you doing here? Son, you were screaming all night. Did you have a nightmare? Mom asked, holding a glass of water. Yeah, Mom, I had such a scary dream about the elevator. I told her everything. You know, son, an old lady from the 1st floor told me that a girl used to live here. Once, she got stuck in the elevator on the 6th floor. No one heard her screams, and only 3 days later, when the neighbors got tired of walking, they called the repairman. After 6 hours of work in the shaft, he removed the girl's body. The elevator fell into the shaft. Since then, no one rides in that elevator, son. That's how it is. My mom's story surprised me. I called Dima right away, but his crying mother answered. Today, Dima fell down the shaft in his building.